Hello everyone and welcome to this Train Sim Mod 4 editor tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you how to import some SRTM and LiDAR terrain into the editor, and also on the side we're going to do set up the Google Maps overlay. So the first thing you're going to need is QGIS, which you're going to need to download and run. As well, all of this information has more or less come from this tutorial. I'm just going to walk through it with an on-screen demonstration at the same time. But this is super helpful, and you should go and like this on the forums by Lulon. So thank you to Lulon immensely. So yes, the first thing you want to do is download QGIS and open that. Once you run that, we're going to hit this button to create a new project. And we are going to get some plugins. The two plugins we need for this are SRTM Downloader, which you can just type SRTM and it comes up. I'm going to reinstall that. This will get our low resolution, distant scenery height files. And we're also going to go Quick Map Services, which will give us an OpenStreetMap layer, and we're going to hit Install Plugin. Right, first thing we're going to come up to Web, Quick Map Services, OSM Standard. Now zoom in on the area where you want to build your route. In my case, that is Sydney, so we're going to come in here. I'm going to grab this tool and just get over the area that I want specifically. I'm just going to do a small area for this, just because it's a bit faster, because there's less files to download. Now we're going to go to Plugins, SRTM Downloader, Set Canvas Extent, and we're going to save this to an area which we can come back to later. We're going to set Test1 SRTM. No, we're not. Sorry, we're just going to set this to Test1 Select. And we're going to hit Download. Now this is going to prompt you to sign in with an account, a NASA Earth Data account. If you don't have an account, you need to create one at this link and then validate or verify the username with a password with your email. I already have done this, so I'm just going to hit OK. Now the download is completed, but because I'm a classic idiot, I forgot to reset my EPSG. So the first thing you need to do is set this EPSG to 4326. If you don't have it, search for 4326 and it'll come down here. I'm going to hit apply and OK, and we're just going to hide that. Sorry, we're going to do that again. SRTM Downloader, set canvas extent. I'm going to set this to the file that I want, select folder and download. Log in again, and that should install, download, and we now have our folder, our file, and this is our low resolution space shuttle imagery. Now it's not super high resolution, but you can still make out significant features. This is 1 point every 30 meters, so one height point every 30 meters, but they are quite large, so chances are your entire route will fit into one. Obviously, if you're doing an unlucky route that's just a circle in the corner, then you'll need to get all four. But that's fine. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to remove that because that's the broken one. We're going to get this HGT file here. I'm going to go properties and just check that it is in the place that we want it to be. And it is, right? It's up here. I'll just get rid of these. It's the .hgt. So we've got our .hgt. Everything else can go away now. We don't need this. We've already got the HGT. That's all we need. We're going to remove all these layers, zoom back into the place that we want, and we're going to get our LiDAR data. The LiDAR data, I can't tell you where to get this from because it's different for everywhere around the world. Chances are there's a government portal somewhere that has them, but if not, then there might just not be LiDAR data available. And the DEM, it might be the best. The SRTM DEM might be the best that you have to go off. So this is our LiDAR data. You can see it's much more detailed, and we can already see the track bed there. What we're going to come down here and do is we're going to set the this number back to 28356. I'm going to apply that. And now we're going to come to raster, miscellaneous, merge, because we're going to merge all of these LiDAR files together. We're going to select all and then deselect the OSM standard, because that's not LiDAR, obviously. And then we're just going to run that. And now you can see we've got our box. These black areas we can ignore. They don't have any LiDAR data, obviously, because there wasn't any there to begin with. But you can see this is all nicely merged and there are no borders. What we need to do now is we need to reproject this, because this is not actually exactly lined up. You can see, or not exactly, but I'll show you what happens. So we're going to go to Projections, Warp, Reproject, and we're going to get our merged layer, because now we can get rid of all of the individual LiDAR files. So if we go and collapse all of these, collapse all of these down, and we can actually just remove these straight off the bat. So we've just got our merged layer. We're going to set our source to the 28356, the same one in the merged, and the target we are going to set to pseudo Mercator 3857 and output resolution 1.0, and we're going to run that. And now this is changed so that all of the height readings are rounded to 1 meter, to the nearest meter, and it's sort of squared off a bit better. Next, we need to go to Processing, Toolbox, and we need to retile this into the individual tiles that the editor uses. You're going to go GDAL, Raster Miscellaneous, Retile, double click on that. Input files, we're going to set our reprojected, okay, and we can actually get rid of our merged now as well. Tile width, I'm going to set this to 2500 and 2500, and we are going to set our output directory to this test1 folder. We're going to run that. And we now have our retiled assets. If I open up that file where it spat them out, they won't appear in QGIS, but you can see they're here. Right, I can get rid of these two files as well. We're only interested in the .ht and these TIFF files now. So I can actually get rid of this reprojected because we don't need it anymore. And I can grab all of these TIFF files in. And we can set OK. And we can see that they spawn back in. But they've still got that boundary back up again. That's fine. I'm actually going to remove these now because we need to clean up a few of these tiles, because as you can see, some of them are completely blank or mostly blank. So I'll just grab all of these back again. I'm going to remove all of these layers and come back to our file, our folder. Everything here that is mostly blank or nearly blank, we can get rid of. So we're going to just set all of these that are nearly blank or mostly blank and get rid of them. And you. Now, anything that is not a TIFF, we can also get rid of at this point. So, but make sure to keep your .hgt as well. That is vital. We need that. So now we can grab all of these that we have again, and we can pull these back into QGIS, and we can see we've just got the files that have stuff in them, and that's much more useful to us. Next, we want to collapse all of these back again. And we want to raster conversion translate. You're going to set the input layer to whatever appears on top. Our projection, we're going to set to predefined. Set your filter, we're going to go 3857. Sorry, no, we're not. We're going to go pseudo Mercator, and this is this one. I've already got it here because I use it a lot. Pseudo Mercator authority ID 3857. Okay, and we're going to select that. Come back to this one, and we're going to save this to file test1. We're going to call this LiDAR1. And we want to make sure it's an ASC file, because that's what the game reads. ASC is just a plain text. And we're going to run that. And we need to repeat this process for each individual ASC file, which is very tedious. So I need to come back to outpoint 2.1, LiDAR2, run. Come back to parameters, 2.2, LiDAR 3, run, and so on and so forth until you have done this for all of your LiDAR files. Alright, so now I've done that for all of the LiDAR files, and I've hidden the original ones so you can just see these ones. And you can see we've still got everything here, but now in .asc format. So now we can remove these output files. And now we have our LiDAR data in the .asc. We're finished with QGIS, right? So we can just save this for safekeeping or something. I'll just leave it in that same directory. There we go, test1, and we'll just save this as test1.qgz. Right, so now we're finished with that. We can open up the original file. And as you can see, some of the stuff here is complete junk. So the .tiffs, we do not need anymore, and we can get rid of them. The only thing we need is the .hgt and the .asc. So we're going to just make a new folder, call it LiDAR, and we'll just grab everything else here. That is a notepad, because this is what I've set to the .asc, and we'll drag this into LiDAR, and everything else we can get rid of. Now we've just got our LiDAR data in here and our HGT data in here. Now we need to boot up the editor. Okay, so now with the editor open, we can finally import some of this terrain. So I'm going to make a new folder. We'll call it test1 just for the sake of continuity. And we'll come into test1, and we'll make another new folder, and we'll call this one terrain data. We can't use spaces because Epic, the Unreal Engine, is a nightmare. And we're going to import the .hgt and all of our .asc files that we've just created. Right, and as soon as they are correctly set, we can get started on the route building. Now this does take a while, especially if you have a lot of LiDAR files. It will take a while. And I have a reasonably powerful machine as well, so if you're just doing this on a laptop, good luck. The editor does like to crash a lot. It isn't very friendly. You just need to sort of use it with gritted teeth. But we can now come and go File, New Route. Now this next step is vitally important. We're going to boot up Google Maps. I'll show you this. And we're going to come into our area. We'll come over, say, Roseville Station, and we will get the coordinates. So we'll leave that there, and we'll right-click and leave our coordinates up. Oopsies. I'll just pull this off to my second monitor. You won't be able to see it, but the point is we've got to set the correct data in here. So you've got negative 33.78420 and longitude 151.17729, and sea level I'm not going to play with. Choose directory. I am going to stick this into test1. And we'll create. We'll close Google Maps now. And that's just going to save everything and make sure everything's fine. Now we've got our level. We want to come up to here, delete atmospheric fog, delete light source, yes, and delete sky sphere, skylight, and sphere reflection capture. Now we're going to come into content, core, TOD, TOD4, BP, and drag this BP TOD system version 4 in. This is nighttime, so I'm going to go tilde. We're going to go ts2.dbg.setLocal date time 12:00, and that's going to set it to midday. Very nice. We can come back to content, test1, and what we're going to do now, we're going to come into route building mode. We are going to set our terrain data. We're going to grab all of this. Going to come to this mode, snap landscape to track. Use selected assets. We're going to come back to create tiles. Select to this. Use selected assets. Create landscape. Oh, sorry, no, we're just very far below. So we got our terrain here. That's all good. Now, this is only one tile. We need to go to each individual tile and set this up. So we're going to come to this one, create landscape, and that'll create a landscape. And this is the SRTM data. And what I found is if you use the scroll wheel, you can move around faster. So if you press W and then scroll forwards, you'll move around faster. Whereas if I scroll back, you can see we're much slower. Come to this one, create landscapes, and you can see this is a bit slow and painful. And I'm not certain as of yet how to speed this up, but I mean, it's a start. You can work around this. But certainly for a small route, this will be fine, and I'm sure we'll learn ways to speed up this process later. So we'll just come over to this tile, and we'll just fill in a 3x3 grid, I reckon, just to start off with. And then what we can do is we can right-click on this tile. We'll say apply LiDAR to selected landscape proxies, and you can see how much better this looks, and we can see the track bedders even as well. Now what will really help us, and we can follow this round, we can add our track bed to anything, apply LiDAR, apply LiDAR to this one. Now where our LiDAR doesn't extend, we will just get a bit of a funky border there, but that's just where the black line ends, and we can cut that off with terrain landscaping tools. No issues there. But this is basically how we get our terrain going very nicely, and that's that. So we can see our track bed coming through. Next, to make route building a little bit easier, it's quite helpful to have a Google Maps overlay. You can see up here we've got that, but you need an API key. Now I can't show you how to make an API key, but if you just Google Maps API key, you can make one there. Unfortunately at the moment you do need to put a credit card number in. It doesn't charge, but you do need to have the credit card number in there just to make sure that you're a person, I guess, and not just a bot. So each API key needs to be registered to a credit card number. Now, once you got there, you can go and you can copy your API key. Mine's here. If you want to use it, you can. I mean, I don't think there's any loss there. Or maybe I'll hide it. I don't know. And then we're just going to set enabled, high definition, detail level, hybrid, whatever you want here. I'm going to set it to hybrid, and then opacity, we can just tinker with that. But I'm going to just quickly copy this out, paste that back in, and go bam, and we'll just toy around with this until it loads in properly. And there we go. We have our Google Maps overlay, and this is super helpful. We can see exactly where the tracks are, exactly where roads are, exactly where buildings are, and you can see how good this LiDAR data is. And if we want to just go to satellite mode, we can set that. Maybe. No. Don't like that. Toggle that on and off. No. Road map. Do you like road map? No. Like that? No? Okay, right, we'll just set that to hybrid then and see what that does. Come on. There you go. So you can see there, it's a very helpful tool for the route building. And that is more or less it. Once you've done that, you can start getting on your track laying. That's all fairly easy. And placing assets down and whatnot. But yeah, that is how you set up the Google API and the basic track building. Sometimes the Google API does have a bit of a nightmare, so like that is not correct. So just cycle that back on and off, and you can see that correct itself. But yeah, that is how you get started with your landscaping. I hope you've enjoyed. Reminder: go give lots of love to that guy on the forums who solved all of this. It's quite frustrating that Dovetail haven't got any documentation out, but alas, that is more or less all that I'm going to talk about. I need to learn more about track laying and asset laying and whatnot. But I'll see you next time. Goodbye.